let's talk about enhancing your body's natural weight belt and the basic anatomy that goes along with it. We can look at our core, for lack of better terms, literally like this balloon here. Fairly similar actually in size. We could look at a beach ball or a can of soda and talk about structure that's fairly similar. But when we talk about 360 bracing, that buzzword you hear all the time, IAP, omnidirectional bracing, what does that really mean? Well, we have to understand some basics about the anatomy, but we can look at it like this balloon here. We're also gonna dive in and talk about the nuances between breathing and bracing. Yes, it's the same musculature controlling this structure, but they work quite a bit different. Once we understand the difference between breathing and bracing, we can then learn how to combine the two and maintain it for optimum loading in your workouts. Enhancing your body's natural weight belt. We have anatomy, our rectus abdominis, internal external obliques, transverse abdominis, the QL, among many other things, including the pelvic floor musculature and our diaphragm. Again, when we look at the balloon, it's very similar. We have the rectus abdominis, internal external obliques, transverse abdominis wrapping all the way around. On the back, the QL, some of our lat and back muscles, diaphragm wraps up here. On the bottom, we have our pelvic floor. Imagine when all of that synergistically works together, helps create tension in our torso. Now, taking the weight belt off of those muscles, the transverse abdominis wraps around and looks quite a bit like a weight belt. So you might think, well, if I already have that natural weight belt, why do I need one of these? The main reason you see athletes, whether they're beginners or top competitive athletes in multiple sports, putting on the belt is to optimize their performance, right? We only have so much strength through our natural musculature. And when we really challenge our body in different workouts, maintaining optimal position can be challenging. When we learn how to breathe and brace well and combine them, that we're gonna show you, match that with good stacked position, then we wrap our belt around our natural weight belt and performance increases. So let's talk about the nuance, the difference between breathing and bracing. So many people think IAP is just combined, and yes, what I did, bracing and breathing intently at the same time, did create intra-abdominal pressure, or IAP. When I blow up the balloon, I'm also slightly combining those two things. So I want you to think about the bracing, the muscular effort, as the structure this balloon has. However, without air and pressure, the structure isn't very strong. When we add air to it, we have very strong structure. With our natural weight belt, most of our strength and structure comes from the muscular brace, unlike the balloon here, where most of this is coming from the air in the balloon. We're not balloons, but that's why when we set and create this pressurization, we want to start with our muscular brace. Once we have that muscular brace, we can add the air in. It's hard to put an exact number on it, but if we had to add a number, I would say about 80% of the tension and the pressure created in your torso when utilizing a belt or training without a belt should be about 80% muscular. I'm trying very hard to create tension here, again in that 360 spear. Then, the rest of the 20% is my air coming in to create pressure. Strap my belt on, supporting the body's natural structure, and now we have optimize performance. Now, of course, when we're talking optimal performance, testing your 1 rep max deadlift, overhead squat, or clean and jerk in the gym is gonna look a little bit different than doing a set or multiple sets of high rep wall balls. However, when we learn to optimize our brace, take air in and out, think about it like a volume dial. When we're doing high endurance, low load, the brace, although we're putting 80% effort in, doesn't have to be our 100%. The air coming in and out might be a little more rapid if we just finished a run. So think about how much pressure you would need to pick up a 100-pound sandbag or heavier and run with it. Think about the difference of that tension and pressure you'd need when performing high rep wall balls. And with your belt on, if you come sprinting up after a short or long distance run right to a heavy deadlift bar, what you needed running up to that bar to maintain posture is quite a bit different than what you're gonna need when you strap that belt on, find your 100% to pick up that heavy load from the ground. So as simple as it seems to breathe and brace, because we breathe coming into the gym to stay alive, we use our core to pick up things around the house and in the gym, combining those for optimal performance is a skill that you have to work on. If you haven't seen any of our other content yet on optimizing performance with or without your weight belt, please check it out. You don't have to be an anatomy expert to understand all the musculature and the skeleton that makes up this brace. Yes, we have the diaphragm and the pelvic floor. We have the front muscles, muscles that wrap around, and muscles in the low back. If we have optimal alignment, meaning our rib cage is stacked over our pelvis, and we're not in this position or this position, we're now setting ourselves up to have optimal posture to find our best bracing. In a heavy squat, for example, if we can't maintain this, and we're breathing like that, it's gonna be very hard to find optimal pressurization. So understanding your alignment is always key to understand what the musculature is doing together. Remember, there's many co-contractions in the body. That simply means if I have good posture, my abs are working with my back muscles, not my back working against the front side. Basic understanding will help you learn where you need to feel what's going on. Remember, breathing is not bracing and bracing's not breathing. Prime both of them, learn to do them together. Now you're utilizing your natural weight belt. Once we have our posture and our anatomy in check, then when we strap on our extra support, whether it is that running to deadlift WOD, high rep wall balls, when we need to lock this down, we know how to do it and our performance skyrockets.